when a transaction doesn't work out, and a player then goes on somewhere else and has more success than he had with us, there does need to be some self-reflection and a little bit of an internal audit to determine whether we did anything wrong. Did we somehow create an uncomfortable environment for the player? Did we put him in a less than optimal position to succeed? Were we asking him to face, for a position player, were we asking him to face pitchers that don't match up well for him? Were we asking him to do something differently than he had done previously? And sometimes we can diagnose something that we did wrong, and sometimes we can't. And so sometimes we chalk, the same way I'll chalk some of Eric Kratz's positive contributions up to good luck, I'll chalk some of those up to bad luck. There have been circumstances where certainly I've looked back and say, we missed something there, and we could have done a little bit better.
I'll ask one more and then I'll open it up to you guys, because I know some people want to have a chance to ask David a question or two. With 2/3 of your roster turning over, how important is keeping the clubhouse? Is that, do you put that on your coaching staff and on your leaders on the team to make sure that this stays the same culture as it's been?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's something that we've talked a ton about internally. So, and it really is an underrated part of what a manager's job is and what a coaching staff job is. These guys are together for 7, hopefully 8 months out of the year. They see more of each other than they do of their families, of pretty much anyone else. And they sort of need to get along. If they don't get along, regardless of how talented they may be, it doesn't work. People don't want to show up to work. When people don't want to show up to work, they generally aren't going to perform very well at work, regardless of what the industry is. That's why HR departments are so important in a variety of different fields. What our coaching staff has done a tremendous job of doing since I've been here at least, is creating a culture that regardless of who the different pieces are, they've been able to fit, and they've been able to be at home, and they've been able to contribute. We do have a lot of turnover this offseason. I think we're going to, depending on how the opening day roster shakes out, it's probably going to be somewhere 13 to 14 out of our 26 guys are going to be different guys than finished the year last year. So that's pretty significant. It's not all that dissimilar from what we've done in the past. We've been a pretty transactional group. We've had significant turnover in previous off seasons. We've had significant turnover in season sometimes during the regular season, and we've been able to maintain a really cohesive unit that cares for each other and cares about winning. And those are the two principles. If you get a group of players that care about each other and care about winning, the rest of it generally takes care of itself.
All right, who's up?
Hi there. Well, it's been a little while since I've been an emerging leader. But thinking back, you said on a number of occasions you're in a room or in an organization with a lot of other smart people, a lot of other smart young people, and you're looking for your next opportunity and they're looking for their next opportunity. And so how do you navigate that without turning other people off or looking like that guy?
Yeah. That's a really good question. So what I tell people is, and frankly, I don't know if this is right or not. I think there are different ways to approach this, and different executives would probably answer this differently. I tend to, and I've gone through my career not looking for the next step, and just being super focused on what I'm doing, and trusting that my mentors and the people around me are looking out for me for my next step. That doesn't mean I haven't networked and I haven't kept in touch with people, but I've never asked someone to make a call on my behalf for position X. It just it's happened where people have made calls, or a spot has opened up and someone has come to me and said, hey, you might be a good fit at that. Do you want to look at that? Do you want us to reach out? I think from my perspective, the mentorship aspect comes in significantly in that type of endeavor, in that type of environment. Certainly knowing people around your chosen industry is really important. Even because I have written hundreds of letters, when I was in college, even at a relatively young age. I was fairly well known throughout the industry. My name was well known, my background was well known. So a networking component does come into it. And then look, I think if there is an opportunity that is available that anyone sees that excites them, I don't think there's any problem with pursuing it. I think that's healthy, that's natural. It's probably no disrespect to your current position or to those around you, but it's a recognition that you believe that you're ready to take on another challenge.
Hi, Stearns. It's Robert Groyle from the Five Tool Podcast. Question for you. In terms of your coaching staff, is that something you're working close with Craig on? Like when you guys let go of Derek Johnson, or when he moved on to the Cincinnati Reds, that one kind of hurt for fans out here. So is that something that you and Stearns went to work together real closely on in terms of that, or was that just something he wanted to move on?
Yeah. And
there's no way to retain him?
No, that's a fair question. So I think on the coaching staff in general, Craig and I try to stay as collaborative on that as possible. And we feel like we've been able to put together some really, really good coaching staffs. In the case of Derek Johnson, our pitching coach for the first couple years I was here, Derek's a super talented coach. We wanted him back. We got into a competitive bidding situation with the Cincinnati Reds, and they did a great job recruiting him and ultimately got him. And we're happy for him. We also really like our current pitching coach, Chris Hook. So our coaching staff decisions, we recognize our major league coaching staff is incredibly important to everything we do. And our decisions are collaborative decisions between Craig, our entire front office. We try to put the best puzzle together that we can.
So you went to a lot of stadiums, you saw a lot of games before you came to Milwaukee. Were you surprised or shocked at the exuberance of Milwaukee fans? We average 30 to 35,000 fans, even during the week. When you're watching TV and the Cincinnati Reds and Miami Marlins have what they say is 2,000 to 3,000 fans, and there's really like 600. What do you think is the second best fan base out there? I mean, the Brewers are the best.
I would certainly say the Brewers are the best. So I had never been to a game at Miller Park before I took this job. And it was one of, at that time, probably 6 or 7 major league stadiums that I had yet to go to. And I remember actually walking through that first opening day I was here. It was freezing. I remember that. We got blown out, and I remember going in my car and having to chip ice off my windshield after getting blown out. But before the game, when I was still in a good mood, I put on a hat and walked around parking lots. And because everyone had told me about the tailgating, and I'd never seen tailgating at baseball. It's not something I had seen before, and so I think that's when it hit me. It's like, oh, this is real. Like this community really cares. It's not just they say they care and they're going to show up when we're winning. This community really cares, and this is a big deal. We've got an enormous responsibility here to perform for this community, and it hit me. It hit me on that opening day before that game, and it stuck with me throughout. It's a pretty unique experience. It's an enormous privilege for all of us in the front office to be able to go to work every day and work on a product that our fan base cares so much about, and it's incredibly motivating.